Welcome to Wrestling News and Opinions Breakdown for WWE's Raw June 1st, 2015 from the AT&T Center in San Antonio, Texas. And the show opened up with the Authority, and the Authority and said that Seth is still the champ, as that's what Stephanie was saying. Triple H was pissed off at Dean Ambrose, rightfully so, and he called him out. So he calls out Ambrose, but Ambrose is such a wuss that he doesn't show up, he doesn't come out, but instead he sends his tough buddy Roman Reigns out there to do his dirty work. So Roman Reigns comes down to the ring to confront the Authority, and Roman asks on the behalf of Dean Ambrose for a ladder match at Money in the Bank between the champion Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose. So then Roman Reigns used some psychology on Rollins. He was doing pretty good on the mic, I'll tell you that. Roman, definitely impressive on the mic. And he was telling Rollins that he used to be a little bit cool back when he was in the Shield, but now that he runs with his mommy and his daddy, referring to Triple H and Stephanie, and the smallest security team ever, he's referring to J&J. Although J&J, yeah, they're little, but they're actually about the size of the average person. I mean, I'm taller than them, and I'm sure a lot of people are, but a lot of people are that height, it's an average size. So Roman said Seth was the worst champ of all time. Rollins then freaked out, and he ended up giving Ambrose the match, saying that he doesn't need the Authority, he doesn't need J&J, he said he doesn't need a 7-foot piece of crap, referring to Kane, and he said that he can retain the belt all by himself, and he stormed off as he was just all, having kind of a hissy fit there. So he left, but I mean, he did, say he doesn't need all those people, and I'll tell you what, he really doesn't need all those people. And actually, the best thing would be for Seth to get away from the Authority, as he's actually plenty talented, and he's got a huge repertoire of moves that he isn't even using because he can't use those moves as a heel. So anyway, Steph freaked out, and she got in Roman's face, but Triple H ended up taking over, and at this point he was keeping his cool, although he was furious earlier, and he ended up bringing up last year's Money in the Bank, throwing that in Roman Reigns' face, that he had lost that match. And then Triple H set up a match between Roman Reigns and King Barrett with the stipulation that if Reigns lost, he would end up having, he would lose his spot at Money in the Bank, and that King Barrett would take his spot. So the Money in the Bank spot was on the line for the match between Roman Reigns and King Barrett. So that's how they opened up the show. I thought it was a pretty good opening all around overall. I was actually happy they didn't have Dean out there because I can't stand Dean Ambrose. I thought Roman was doing pretty good on the mic. Seth did kind of fobble one of his words, but I mean, he was just so mad, and when you get mad like that, you sometimes will say a word wrong. But I thought Seth did a pretty good job. I thought it was a pretty good open. And Triple H and Stephanie, they're always awesome on the mic for sure. I mean, they're vets. They've been doing it for forever, and they're just as good as always, if not better than ever. So I thought that was a pretty good opening. Let me know what you think in the comments section below. Definitely interested to read your thoughts and opinions, what you thought about the opening of the show. What do you think about, Ambrose having Reigns go out there and then get him the match? I thought it was kind of interesting because, I mean, ultimately, if Roman Reigns is in the Money in the Bank match, that means he wants the title. So then why is he making matches for Dean, and why is he so concerned about him having the title? So if Roman wins Money in the Bank, then, and if Dean ends up having the belt, then the two of them will be at odds. So that kind of doesn't make sense, exactly. Although I actually would like to see Seth Rollins go back to being a face, have them turn Dean Ambrose to a heel, put him with the Authority where he belongs, and then I'd like Roman Reigns. So I mean, I think they could just keep him a face of people like Roman. So just, I think the way things worked out was how they were going to work out anyway. I don't think they were necessarily ever had any plan of putting the belt on Roman just then when they, when everybody thought they were at the Royal Rumble. They always, all along, it was going to be Seth cashing in at WrestleMania. I saw that coming a mile away. But anyway, let me know what you think in the comments section below. All right, so let's go on to the next match. It's the first match, the next segment, Roman Reigns versus King Barrett, which was a match that they made in the opening of the show. And so they were going at it there, back and forth. I thought it was pretty good. What ended up happening eventually was that Barrett would hit the winds of change, and then he went to go for the bullhammer. He ended up missing, and then he got rolled up by Roman Reigns, and they lifted him up with one arm, and he did like a sit-out powerbomb, pinning Barrett, but Barrett kicked out, and then Reigns ended up setting up for the Superman punch, but then Barrett ducked out of the ring, and then when Reigns went to go get him, he ended up getting him with an eye rake, and then he slid back in, and then he went back for the bull hammer, but Reigns ducked. Then he bounced off the ropes, and he hit Barrett with the spear, and it was 1, 2, 3, Roman Reigns wins. So Roman Reigns still in the Money in the Bank match at this point, but they would end up going backstage after the match, after the commercial, and the Authority confronted Reigns, and they told him, nice win, but now you've got to face Mark Henry. So now he would have to face Mark Henry in his second match of the evening. Not right at that moment, but they set that match right up. So the short-lived victory for Roman Reigns, staying in that Money in the Bank match, beating King Barrett. I thought it was a pretty good match. They're both good in the ring. Nice back and forth, and I liked the way it all went down and everything. So I liked it. I thought it was good. And I thought it was interesting how they had the Authority have them running through the gauntlet. That would be the theme of the show, basically. This yep, another match for you. You want they just kept throwing people at them. So I thought it started off good here with Barrett, even though King Barrett, he just won the King of the Ring and stuff, and he's a pretty hot heel, but still I thought it was pretty good. And Roman definitely getting some momentum as Money in the Bank's only a couple weeks away. So let me know what you thought about it in the comment section below. Definitely interested to read your thoughts and opinions. Alright, so then they actually had another backstage segment. Now they were backstage and interviewing Nikki Bella, and she was saying how she really respects the Divas division and everything. And then she ended up getting interrupted by Paige, and then Paige ended up bringing up the fact that she is owed a title shot, being that she won the Battle Royal back when Raw was in London some time ago. Time just keeps moving, and so now it's that was for the number one contender spot, and she didn't actually get a one-on-one match. So she said, let me get a one-on-one match, and Nikki accepted, and she said on one condition, that we have that match tonight. So they made that match right then for the Divas Championship, and that would take place a little later in the show. So now what ended up happening, they had Ryback in the ring, and he ended up cutting a promo before his match, and he was saying that the fans gave him goosebumps. So you give us goosebumps too, Ryback. And so then after the commercial, they came back, and Miz came down to face Ryback. But then, before the match started, out came the Big Show. So the Big Show makes his return. He ended up interrupting the match. Well, it hadn't actually started, but he interrupted before the match started. He came down there, and he looked like he was going to hit, Ryback. But instead, he ended up knocking out The Miz. He hit him with that big KO punch. Boom! Laid out The Miz, which that was pretty cool. So I wanted to see Ryback beat the crap out of Miz, but as long as someone beats him up, then it's good, So that was pretty cool, seeing the Big Show come back and knock out The Miz. And then the Big Show ended up telling the big guy that he got nothing on the Big Show, and that anyone was going to take that title from Ryback, it was going to be him. So Big Show and Ryback are now feuding. They'll end up going at it at Money in the Bank. Big Show ended up leaving, and Ryback was just like, feed me more, and everybody's like, feed me more. So that was pretty good, I thought. And I actually think Big Show versus Ryback should be a pretty good match. I'm looking forward to that one. We could see freaking Ryback doing the shell shock to the Big Show. That's going to be pretty sweet. And it'll be a pretty good match. It's like Ryback, he's a big dude. He can face big guys like that. And you want to see him against big competition. So I thought that was pretty cool. Plus, Big Show, he's got that movie coming out or whatever, Vendetta with Dean Cain. So sure they want to kind of promote that, but let me know what you think in the comments section below, what you thought about Ryback, and now that he's going to be feuding Big Show, and Big Show knocking out The Miz. Actually, like I said, I kind of enjoyed that, actually, to tell you the truth. But let me know what you think in the comments section. Definitely interested to read your thoughts and opinions. All right, so now we had Kevin Owens in the ring, and he was doing a promo. He was talking about what happened in Elimination Chamber, and he said that he delivered on his word once again. You know, he said he was going to be the NXT champion, and he did. He said he was going to take out Sami Zayn, he did. He said he was going to beat Cena, and he did. So then he said that after the match, he ended up calling home. His wife congratulated him, and then his son got on the phone, and his son asked him if John Cena was okay, because his son is a big John Cena fan. So then Owens called it blind worship, and he said that the reason why he's a fan is because Cena is portrayed as a superhero with his bright colors and his catchphrases. Owens said while he was perfecting his craft around the world, his son was being influenced by John Cena and became the hero to his son that he never was. That's saying that John Cena's his son's hero, and Owens wanted to be his son's hero, but he was away from home, you know, doing the wrestling thing around the world. But John Cena was on the TV there every week. So Owens then said that last night at Elimination Chamber, he beat Super Cena, and that Money in the Bank, he's going to bury John Cena and make his son and all the kids watch. And then that's when, of course, John Cena ended up coming out and confronting Owens. And Cena told Owens to shut up and then act like he'd been there before, and that the entire world is talking about Kevin Owens, and he should just be relishing in that moment. And Cena told Owens that he was going to give him the U.S. title, but then when he heard Owens come out, he decided not to give him the title because he didn't deserve John Cena's respect. So then John Cena said, you know, that he wasn't a man, and he said, do you want to know why your son is a fan? And he said, it's not the WWE machine. And he said, if it was because of the WWE machine, then he'd be rocking an Adam Rose t-shirt, and he would love the Funkasaurus and want to grow up to be in the XFL. He said, no. He said the reason why is because Cena earned his respect along with the respect of all the fans. And so John Cena then told Owens that the 3 words that define Kevin Owens are not fight Owens fight, but never give up. And then John Cena told Owens that he wasn't a real man and that he was going to kick his ass at Money in the Bank. And then he threw the mic at Owens. And then they kind of like got face to face, but Owens ended up leaving the ring as he was just in a rage. But Owens picks his fights. He doesn't just jump out there when people goad him into an emotional, state. He actually keeps his cool and thinks logical. So you gotta respect Owens for that. Sometimes it looks like maybe he's chickening out, like with Samoa Joe and then now Cena, but really, you see that once he gets in the ring and does fight, like he picks his fights and he's smart and he knows when to do it, and when a guy's just trying to get a emotional, like a response out of him, instead he says nope, he keeps his cool and he's like, alright, I'll come back and whoop the crap out of you, just like he did Elimination Chamber. But I thought this segment was awesome. I thought Owens was amazing on the mic. It was so freaking believable. Like, Kevin Owens makes you believe in wrestling. Like, he's the realest thing going. Oh my god, I love Kevin Owens. And then John Cena, man, this is one of the best promos he's ever cut. Like, this feud right here, man, it's so great. Like, John Cena is doing some amazing work with Kevin Owens. It's so awesome. Like, the back and forth, it was so good. Like, both these guys are just amazing. Such great ring, mic work. And last night, their ring work was amazing. Like, it's just so awesome. It's so real, so believable. Like, man, it really makes you believe in wrestling. It really makes you believe in these guys. It was just so awesome. And John Cena, like, I respect John Cena. I love John Cena. He's a great wrestler. He's one of the greatest things that ever happened in wrestling. I know a lot of people think he's the worst thing and they think he sucks. But if that was true, then that wouldn't have happened last night on Elimination Chamber, and they wouldn't be having this feud. And man, Kevin Owens is just so awesome. He's so nasty in the ring. He's unbelievable. This feud is friggin' sweet. I cannot wait to see Money in the Bank. I really actually, I don't even know. It's like, I really like Cena, but man, Owens is just so awesome. So it's like, I'm kind of torn between the two, to tell you the truth. But Cena been on top for a long time, and right now, it's Owens' time. That's the thing, And it doesn't mean like Cena's going to just disappear or anything once he loses to Owens. He'll still be John Cena. He's going to fight. He's going to not give up. But in the end, Kevin Owens, man, he's just a bad mofo. And so We'll see what happens. Either way, it's going to be one hell of a match, and it's going to be awesome. Already, it was a great match last night. They've been cutting some great promos. Again, this right here was just such an awesome, memorable moment with these two in the ring. Something, I mean, I'll remember this forever. Like, the stuff, what Kevin Owens was saying, the emotion, it was just so raw, so real. And then John Cena, he came out and gave it just the same level. Like, it was so raw, so real, what Cena was saying too. Like, it was awesome. Like I said, this is a great moment right here. Like, they should get a Slammy Award for this or something. But let me know what you think in the comments section below. Definitely interested to read your thoughts and opinions. Alright, so now we had the New Day, and they ended up coming out in the ring, and they were cutting a promo dissing the San Antonio Spurs, because of course they were in the AT&T Center in San Antonio. That's where the Spurs play basketball, and they've won their championships. And so then they were dogging on Tim Duncan, saying that he needs to retire, that he's too old. Tim Duncan being one of the greatest basketball players that's ever played the game of basketball. And then they said that they were on fire and that Kofi Kingston's going to win the Money in the Bank. And then New Day, all three members, they will all be Mr. Money in the Bank. So it's actually, I mean, you know, they're great at being heels, these guys. They're awesome on the mic, and they're pretty funny and entertaining, even when they're just talking totally out their ass. So, I mean, that was pretty cool, actually. And then they ended up having a match with Kofi and Dolph Ziggler. Ziggler, you know, he was accompanied by Lana, but he had Lana wait up at the top of the ramp, you know, didn't have her come down to the ring, so she's just waiting up there. You know, just, I guess, to have her up there is, like, you know, for aesthetics or something. But, so anyway, what ended up happening in the match, you know, it was back and forth. It was actually, you know, pretty good. They're both pretty good workers, Dolph and Kofi. More, you know, like a fast-paced, high-flying drop kicks and stuff like that. So then what ended up happening, though, was Dolph ended up hitting that huge DDT that he does, where he just jumps way up in the air, and then boom, that monstrous DDT. That's why Stone Cold talks about all the time, and he always, it's like a pet peeve of his that the match doesn't end right there, and once again, it gets kicked out of. Kofi kicks out of that big DDT. Xavier Woods then jumps up to the apron, and then, you know, to distract Dolph, and then Kofi ended up rolling up Dolph Ziggler, but then Dolph reversed the roll up, and then he won. Just 1, 2, 3, boom. So it's kind of like, I mean, like, that's cool and all that he went on a roll up, but after the DDT, why didn't he win on the DDT? You know, because it was weird, because it was like the distraction, but it backfired. You know, but hey, whatever. So. Anyway, the New Day then they ended up beating up Dolph Ziggler, because that was kind of the thing. The match was just kind of like a squash, because it was really to set up what happened here with New Day beating up Ziggler, and then here comes the Primetime Players out to rescue Dolph Ziggler, which kind of makes a little sense that, you know, Dolph and Darren Young, they have something in common. But anyway, so then this turned into a 6-man tag between the Primetime Players and Dolph Ziggler versus the New Day. So then the New Day ended up beating the crap out of Young in the corner after a little bit. They were just like tearing him up. And so then eventually he ended up getting a hot tag. He tagged in Titus. And Titus came in. He cleared house. He almost ended up getting the win after a power slam on Xavier Woods. But then Biggie broke it up. And then it ended up with Young hit Biggie with a neck breaker. Then O'Neal got rolled up by Woods, but he kicked out. And then he ended up getting him with a big boot. And then Kofi hit the ring. And then O'Neal kind of brought him over to Dolph, who hit him with the super kick and took care of Kofi. So then Titus ended up doing a pump handle slam to Woods. And it was 1, 2, 3 Primetime Players and Dolph Ziggler win. So they ended up getting the win there. So like I said, it started off, it was a single match with Dolph Ziggler and Kofi Kingston. They said they're going to be in Money in the Bank. And then they ended up with Primetime Players coming out to the rescue. So probably end up getting to see, you know, Primetime Players. They were the last team in the Elimination Chamber with the New Day, so they'll probably end up now feuding with them, even though it's like, well, what happens to Kid and Cesaro? You know, I mean, I really thought they should have won the, you know, match just to kind of keep them involved in the title picture. Not that, you know, Primetime Players can't be in, they can have kind of like a title triangle thing going on, where it's like the three of them all kind of going back and forth and feuding and, you know, having title matches and switching the belt. Like, I don't know if they need to just keep it on New Day. Like, I mean, I did like that they put it on them at first, but, and not like I mind them having the belts, like, it's straight, but Kid and Cesaro are the best. You know, like, they can't just go off to the wayside. I mean, it's all well and good to have primetime players and New Day feuding, and that's cool and all. And primetime, you know what I mean? Like, it's their time right now, too, to, like, come up and get that title shot. But it would have been kind of cool if they were going against Kid and Cesaro, except that, well, since they're both faces, that's kind of how, you know, you have to put them, like, that's the thing. You almost have to put Kid and Cesaro got to go heel or something, or else that's what happens to them, you know. But anyway, it was pretty straight. I mean, it was good seeing, like, Titus, you know, clear house and kick ass. That was pretty cool. And then get the win. So, you know, overall, I thought it was pretty good. But let me know what you think in the comment section below. Definitely interested to read your thoughts and opinions. So now, Roman Reigns had his second match of the evening, this time against the world's strongest man, Mark Henry, as the Money in the Bank spot was on the line once again. As Roman Reigns earlier, you know, he had defended his spot in the Money in the Bank ladder match against King Barrett, and he won, and so he thought he was done for the night, but no, the Authority had made the match. He was going to have to go against Mark Henry and to fight for that spot yet again. So they started off, it was, you know, they were brawling for a little while, so two big strong guys, and then ended up with Roman Reigns. He ended up hitting a Samoan drop on Mark Henry. That was pretty impressive, lifting up the 400 plus pounder. And then it ended up outside the ring. Henry would end up forcing Roman Reigns into the ring post, but then Roman Reigns hit Mark Henry with a Superman punch. And then the refs started counting as both guys were down. And then right at the last second at the 9, Roman Reigns ends up jumping in the ring, and he gets the win by count out. So he wins by count out. But then after the match, Mark Henry ended up picking up, you know, Roman Reigns and slamming him down with that world's strongest slam, and then he hit him with the world's biggest body splash, and he left Roman Reigns in a lot of pain as Roman Reigns visited the Hall of Pain, courtesy of Mark Henry. So Mark Henry, you know, he walked off and he did the Authority's bidding right there. Is, you know, they wanted to soften him up, they wanted to try to take that spot for him, and already that was the second match, and you kind of had to know there was going to be a third match. And once they went backstage after the commercial, yes, there was the Authority confronting Reigns again, and of course he was not surprised at all, as none of us were, that now it was another match. But the surprise was who his opponent would be, as they announced it would be Bray Wyatt. It was like, no, why? I thought the match, going back to Mark Henry and Reigns, I thought that was pretty cool. You know, I enjoyed that right there. And I actually, you know, I thought it was pretty good, like, having Reigns go through this whole gauntlet and everything. And the way that he ended up winning the match, I actually like that too. Like, not to just have it be the same thing, like, to actually have him win in a different way with the count out. I thought that was creative. And then Mark Henry getting him afterwards and hitting him with the splash and the World's Strongest Slam, you know, in the other order, but and leaving him laid out, like, making him look a lot more vulnerable. I thought that played out pretty well. But the thing I did not like was that they ended up saying Bray Wyatt would be the next guy. It's like, why? Why Bray Wyatt? I understand that now, for some reason, Bray Wyatt's got, like, some connection to the Authority, which doesn't make a lot of sense. It really makes no sense at all. And then why would you, like, put Bray Wyatt, like, in this position? Like, Bray Wyatt's the man. Like, he should be kicking ass. Like, he shouldn't be the third guy in a gauntlet that Roman Reigns is going against. Like, I know the, oh, man, like, the whole thing, you know, Barrett and then Henry, but, like, man, why put Bray Wyatt in the, like, it doesn't make sense. It also is kind of like, it's, I don't know, it's bad booking unless they're trying to make Roman Reigns a heel. Because people like Bray Wyatt. I know Bray Wyatt's a heel, but people like him. So then, when you put Roman Reigns in a match against Bray Wyatt, and it's the third match of a gauntlet, that's just bad booking. It's stupid. Because now, who am I supposed to root for? I want to root for Roman Reigns, but now you put him against Bray Wyatt. Well, I'm going to go for Bray Wyatt. What the hell? Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments section below. Like I said, I thought it was pretty good, Roman Reigns versus Mark Henry. But let me know what you think in the comments section. Definitely interested to read your thoughts and opinions. So now they had, like, some product placement. But it actually was funny. I wouldn't necessarily talk about it, except I just like Macho Man down in Axelmania. I know a lot of people hate him and everything, But the fact that this was how they got on the show, whatever, it's product placement. It still was entertaining and what it was. It was better than the friggin' just some stupid commercial, right? I don't want them to go too crazy with the product placement, you know what I mean? But this was actually not so bad. And, they had Mandow and Axelmania. I thought it was kind of funny, actually. Like, they were, like, so into the shakes, they wouldn't do the handshake. And so then they ended up cutting to the New Day. And so then they were, like, fighting over which one was the best, strawberry cheesecake or peanut butter fudge. And then Kofi Kingston's like, you can have both. It's Sonic, yeah. Being all, like, cheesy. And then he was all like, son, Nick Shakes. Son, Nick Shakes. Which, they're crazy, man, New Day. It was funny the other day on Elimination Chamber when they were for Lucha Dragons, Lucha, and they're like, you suck, trying to turn the fans to do that to them, like how they were having it done to them. But anyway, they cut back to the Mega Powers, and they were still drinking the shakes, and they wouldn't do the handshake. Then they cut to Big Show, and Big Show's like, how many flavors? 25. He's like, give me all of them. I'm a method actor. And then they cut back to the Mega Powers, and they finally finish the shakes. You hear the last of the straw. And so then he's like, I need a refill, brother. Oh, yeah. And he's like, what you gonna do when product placement runs wild on you? Of course, he said when the shakes run wild on you, but it's product placement. That's what it is. But anyway, I normally wouldn't even talk about that, but it was kind of funny. So then we had Paige versus Nikki for a Divas title match. And actually, I'll admit, Nikki actually looked pretty good in this match. I was talking about, that she sucks, she's not a wrestler. It's funny because, she was just doing a lot of wrestling, actually, in this match. A lot more wrestling than she did on Elimination Chamber. And I'll give credit where credit's due. I appreciate that she's working hard and everything and trying to be a better, wrestler. But the thing is, though, that's well and good, and I do respect that, and I do appreciate her hard effort and everything, but she shouldn't be champ. That's my point, is that the belt shouldn't be on somebody who's still, learning and working really hard to be good at something. The champ is what you get a belt, a championship, after putting in the hard work and becoming something great. Then you're the champion. Not here's the belt, now become the champion. No, you become the champion, you earn it first, and then you become it. That's all. Even though at least she is trying, unlike some other Diva champions, over the long history of the belt going way back, we've had some that just really didn't even try at all. So, at least she is trying, although I really think Paige deserves it. But anyway, Nikki was doing a lot of heel stuff in this match. She was doing, push-ups during the match to taunt Paige. She was doing sit-ups to taunt Paige. And that's also taunting the fans when she does that. It's very heelish. That's what I was saying. I'm I've been saying she's a heel. And that right there to me, I'm man, that's some heel stuff. Because she's basically saying, oh, this is easy. And it's it ain't easy. And you're, still working at getting good. So you have to be acting like that. It's very heelish. And that's ended up what happened, because Paige ended up getting the Rampage off the top rope to Nikki. It looked like, boom, that's it. Paige is going to be the new Divas champion. But then Nikki rolls out because she knows she's beat. And then what happens? Out from under the ring, here comes Brie, dressed as Nikki in Nikki's outfit. And then she ends up rolling up Paige and getting the win. 1, 2, 3, cheating to win because they're heels. I told you so. Not to say I told you so, but hey, whatever. So anyway, then after the match, that's the thing too. After the match, now Brie and Nikki were in the ring celebrating. And the ref's like, yep, you won. I'll raise your hand, and here's the belt. It's what? That's so stupid. Are you kidding me? Hello? At that point, the ref's just, oh, nope, boom, DQ. She just said Paige won by DQ. I know she doesn't get the belt, but she won the match by disqualification, very apparently, but the ref is just such a dummy, that he doesn't realize, oh, wait, look that's Brie, and she's wearing the same outfit. Wait, she's the one who pinned her. She wasn't in the match, that's a DQ. But no, he's just yep, I'm freaking stupid. It's what? Oh, man. And Paige deserves the belt, but, overall, though, I actually thought it was a pretty decent segment, as much as I'm poo-pooing on it. Because, I did think it was good. Like, I appreciated Nikki doing more moves and actually wrestling, and then I appreciated her doing heel stuff and then winning in a heel way. Because it's like, well, if Paige ain't gonna get the belt, at least she shouldn't get beat clean by Nikki. So it was actually, I'd say overall, it was pretty good. Even though I am kind of, like I said, dogging on it a little bit there. But let me know what you think in the comments section below. Definitely interested to read your thoughts and opinions. Alright, so now we had Randy Orton versus Sheamus. Is both of these men are going to be in the Money in the Bank match coming up in less than 2 weeks on June 14th on the WWE Network. And that's, of course, for the briefcase. It's a ladder match. So far, there's 6 guys that have been named. Michael Cole actually teased that there might be more additions, so obviously it'll probably end up being 8 guys, I'm guessing. I kind of think they're going to end up throwing Bray Wyatt into the mix as he ends up going up against, Roman Reigns in the main event of this evening. But right here, Randy Orton and Sheamus, they're mixing it up. It's pretty good, action in the ring, back and forth brawling. But what ended up happening is that Orton would hit Sheamus with a power slam, and then he got him with the elevated DDT. Orton then set up for the RKO, but Sheamus hit him with the bro kick, and then Orton slid outside, and the two started a brawl on the outside of the ring. Orton then tossed Sheamus over the barricade by the timekeeper's area, and then Sheamus hit Randy Orton with a steel chair, and that got him disqualified. So Orton won by DQ, but Sheamus ended up bro kicking him on the outside of the ring. And then he ended up tossing Orton into the barricade and then into the ring post and then the barricade again all around the ring, all over the place. And then a bunch of midgets, referees, came out to stop Sheamus from beating on Orton. But then once Orton rose up to his feet, still looking stunned, Sheamus hit him with another bro kick, laying out the Apex Predator. So Sheamus putting a beating on Randy Orton. Not exactly what I wanted to see, but I was entertained, even though I hate Sheamus. But I wanted to see Orton just beat the crap out of him. He was beating him up pretty good there, he did get that, power slam, the elevated DDT, and he did smash him over the keeper's, area there. But then Sheamus, pulled out that steel chair, so... And then he started beating on Orton. So now he got some heat building between those two. And they mix it up pretty good. At least they're going to be in that ladder match for the Money in the Bank. So that was the theme here. Is they're building that it's just going to be a short build. It's only 2 weeks away. Less than 2 weeks away, really. And Roman throughout the whole thing going through the gauntlet. But so we're, things are heating up for that Money in the Bank. Let me know, though, what you thought about this match between Sheamus and Randy Orton. I wasn't happy to see Sheamus, beat up Orton, even though Randy did get the win by DQ. But Sheamus, he might not have won the match, but he definitely put a hurting on Orton. And I would have liked to see Orton beat the crap out of Sheamus. So hopefully, Orton gets his revenge. As the Apex Predator, he's not going to just take that lying down. He might have, got beat up on Raw, but he'll be getting back at Sheamus very soon, I do believe. But let me know what you think in the comments section. Definitely interested to read your thoughts and opinions. Alright, so now we had backstage, an interview with Rusev, and he was on crutches. His ankle there was all, in a big, brace looking thing. It looked like as if he had a broken ankle or something. A little worse than it is. I'm not really sure how bad it is, because he's going to be wrestling later on this month. So ankle injuries, it depends how severe it is, but definitely you want to protect the ankle. So even if it is just a sprain or whatever it may be, and he doesn't wear boots, so but maybe he should start wearing boots. Although Rusev, if he starts wearing boots, that could throw off his whole game. He's used to not wearing the boots. Anyway, he was on crutches, and he's being interviewed, and he looked really down. And Rusev, man, give this man an Oscar. He once again doing a great job, and is just expressing himself in conveying his emotions in this story, that what's going on with him. So he looked really distraught, and he looked zoned out. He looked like he might even have been on painkillers. I wouldn't be surprised if he got prescribed something for that ankle there, being on crutches and everything. At least he's going to be on a heavy dose of Motrin. But so anyway, he said that he had nothing. He said he lost everything. He said he had no championship, no career, no woman. And they actually say is that even though a lot of people say, well, oh, you said that first, that must be what's most important, the championship. But actually, psychologically, they say that people always say the most important thing last. That's what they really care about. That they save what's really important for the last thing they say. So in that order there, the last thing he said was, no woman, no cry. But he looked like he might cry. And so he said he was a broken man with a broken ankle and a broken spirit. But he said that he was the one that was crushed this time. And he said that he knows what he wants and he knows what he desires and he will get it back. So he ended up, he was low there. It was actually pretty cool because he's out the whole time real low energy, real down. And all of a sudden he got all mad. It was like, oh no, Rusev, he's crazy. But so I thought it was pretty good. I thought it was definitely, interesting and entertaining towards progressing that story there with Rusev. But let me know what you thought about it. Like I said, Rusev, man, in my opinion, it's like, this guy is awesome on the mic. Man, they should put him in a WWE movie, except I want to just see him out there in the ring wrestling. But I thought it was pretty good. Earlier they had Lana out there with Dolph, but she just stood at the ramp. She didn't really get involved, so it's kind of like, what's going on there? But so anyway, then we had Neville versus Bo Dallas. So Bo Dallas came out first, and he said that he had wanted to help Neville, but now he wants to hurt him. So Bo Dallas, man, he's usually so cheery, so positive and upbeat, but now he's getting pissed. Now he's lost his patience from being so positive and being so cheery. Now he's just mad after what happened to him at Elimination Chamber. And so here he was going up against Neville, and he was taking it to Neville early on. He was bringing the hurt to him, and he was in control as he was using some wrestling moves to keep Neville grounded, as he was trying to keep him from taking off and taking flight, because he is the man that gravity forgot. But eventually Neville would escape a European headlock, and then he started unloading on Dallas with some kicks, and they ended up setting him up, and he got him in the right position. I'm not sure if he had an enziguri, but he ended up, he was just like unloading on the kicks, and then bouncing off the rope a couple times. And once he got him in the right spot, he went up top and he nailed him with the red arrow. And it was 1, 2, 3, Neville wins. So that was pretty cool. I like both Bo Dallas and Neville. I thought it was a pretty good match, and I thought it was pretty good, seeing them further in the progression of this feud. I think it's a good feud. It was a good feud down in NXT, and I'm glad that they rekindled it here on the main roster. And like I said, these guys are both excellent in the ring. Like, watching the matches, they're awesome. Like, Bo Dallas, he's very believable. Like, when he's in there, and he just even something as simple as a headlock, he makes it so much more, like, interesting and exciting. Like, just by the way, the facial expressions, and he just starts yelling and screaming. Like, he's crazy. He's awesome. And then Neville, of course, he's amazingly athletic. Like, his high-flying maneuvers and everything is just awesome. And, of course, he perfected that over in Japan. They have a very, disciplined and strict, regiment that they follow to become so, perfect in their execution of all these very difficult moves that Neville does. So you got to respect that for sure. And the Red Arrow is just one of the awesomest moves that have been in the WWE that have come along in a long time. So it's pretty sweet. Definitely enjoyed the match, and definitely enjoy seeing these guys mix it up. And it's gonna be interesting to see what happens from here. What happens with Bo Dallas. He's obviously gonna keep coming for him, but he's been losing now. So is he gonna end up calling for backup? And could it be Harper and Rowan? And maybe his brother Bray Wyatt? Well, we shall see. Only time will tell. I think that actually Bo Dallas kind of even right now tonight was revealing a little bit. He he actually the whole time has been with Bray, even though like there's more to it behind the scenes going on that they just, they weren't telling you. That Bo Dallas, that him and Bray Wyatt, like they had like this thing going where Bo Dallas was convinced that it was almost like in the desert when the devil and Jesus made like a deal, and they said, all right, he's like, I could save the world and everybody's gonna be positive, and Bray Wyatt's like, well, no, Bo, people aren't positive, people are negative, they don't give a crap about all that. He's like, no, I'm telling you, I'm gonna show you. And then he went out there and they had a deal like, oh, if you could turn everybody positive, then we'll let it be. But if not, then the Eater of Worlds will come behind you, and then you're going to have to join forces with your brother Bray Wyatt if you can't turn them positive. And he came out there, he tried to get people to believe, but nobody would believe. That's why he said, you got to just believe. But no one would listen to him. And now he's going to join forces with his brother to take down everybody and everything on the rosters. And they're just going to go through just taking everybody out. The Wyatt family, Bo Dallas, Bray Wyatt, Harper, and Rowan is going to be crazy. But that's just my opinion. Let me know what you think in the comments section below. Like I said, this match was pretty cool with Neville and Bo Dallas, and we'll see what happens, moving forward from here. And this actually leads into the main event, but let me know what you think about that in the comment section below. Alright, so the main event was Roman Reigns versus Bray Wyatt. And if you're watching this video, maybe check out the last one I was talking about with Bo Dallas and Neville. It's interesting that, that led into Bray Wyatt. I think eventually we're going to see that those two are actually together. But right here in this match, though, it was the third match that Roman Reigns had to fight in this gauntlet that the Authority was having him go through. Because first in the beginning of the show, Roman had come out and he was, representing Dean Ambrose. And so then the Authority was like, well, you're going to have to fight King Barrett right now for your Money in the Bank spot. And then after he beat King Barrett, they're like, well, that's not good enough. Now you got to face the world's strongest man, Mark Henry, still with the Money on the Bank spot on the line. He beat Mark Henry just barely by count out. And he had pinned, Barrett earlier. But so he beat Mark Henry. And then they're like, all right, well, that's not good enough. Now you got to face Bray Wyatt. And I don't know, like, I mean, I guess it worked out and everything, but still, I don't know, like, I don't think they really should have had Bray Wyatt in this position. I don't know why, like, I think it's bad for Roman Reigns that they would put these two together in this match. I think it's bad booking. Like, they could have had anybody else but Bray. Like, it just doesn't make sense, like, other than if they're trying to turn Roman into a heel. Like, why would you put him against Bray Wyatt here? Why is Bray Wyatt doing the bidding of the Authority? Other than, I guess it makes a little bit of sense that he just wants to be in that Money in the Bank match, and that's, like, his motivation, and he doesn't really care that the Authority, like, is manipulating him, because he's could, reason it that, oh, I'm really manipulating them because I'm making them give me what I want, and they think I'm giving them what they want, but what I want is just destruction anyway, so I don't have a problem with beating whoever they want me to beat. I'll beat them too, whatever. And that could be, where he's coming from. But the fans love Bray Wyatt. Like, Bray Wyatt's one of my favorite wrestlers on the roster, probably is my favorite wrestler on the roster, and I actually like Roman Reigns. So why are you putting them against each other? And you can even see when Bray Wyatt was coming out there, like, everybody was lighting up the fireflies, lighting up the cell phones. Like, people love Bray Wyatt. He's basically the new Undertaker, like, in his presence and in his, acceptability with the fans. Like, people love him, and I love him. The way, it's the same kind of feeling of, like, how you felt about the Undertaker, because he's a guy that, like, typically you're not supposed to cheer for necessarily. Like, you weren't supposed to cheer for the Undertaker. And even when he came out, he was a bad guy at first, but eventually he was so good that everybody loved the Undertaker. And it's the same way with Bray Wyatt. Even though he's not gotten to the point, obviously, that the Undertaker would get to, you know what I mean, and even when Undertaker came in, he already had been, doing the same. But Bray Wyatt's got time under his belt too, and he's been around wrestling his entire life. At least, I mean, he's still, got time before, obviously, he's going to need a lot of time before he can get to the point where the Undertaker is now, but that's just a matter of time, really. All things, hopefully, if they go the way they should, but
it's just, that's what I'm saying. Like, why would you have him going against Roman Reigns, a guy that you're, like, you know what I mean? Like, unless you're going to turn Roman heel, you know what I mean? Like, why are you, like, putting fans in a spot where they're, like, not knowing who to root for, and then, like, taking some fans away from cheering from Roman because I'm going to cheer for Bray. I would like to cheer for Roman Reigns, but I can't if he's going against Bray. So why is he going against Bray? That don't make sense. But anyway, so this is, like I said, the third match of the night. And so, you know, they're mixing it up, going back and forth. Then I'm going to commercial. And then, you know, they came back and everything. Bray Wyatt ended up doing a vicious DDT to Reigns on the ring apron. Then he nailed him with a body avalanche in the corner. But then when he went back to the well, Roman caught him with a clothesline because he went back to do it again. And so then Roman ended up, you know, sending Wyatt into the ring post, and then he hit him with the DDT of his own. Reigns then ended up hitting him with a running clothesline in the corner, followed by multiple clotheslines. And then he ended up punching Bray Wyatt, and he went to the outside, and then he ended up hitting him with the missile dropkick outside the ring. And then he ended up, you know, tossing him in the barricade. But then when he went back into the ring, Bray Wyatt took back control. Then he hit a big clothesline. Then he did a running senton. Wyatt started slapping Reigns, but Roman laughed. And then it was just like, okay. And then he ended up hitting him with a Samoan drop. And then he went for the Superman punch. But Bray Wyatt ended up reversing it into a side slam, which is pretty cool. And so then Bray, you know, ended up doing the spider walk. And he was setting up for Sister Abigail. But then Reigns ended up rolling him up. But then Roman ended up going for the Superman punch, but then J&J ended up coming down, and Kane, and so then they were at ringside. Then Bray, you know, he went to get Roman for Sister Abigail, like he had him locked in once they distracted him, but then Reigns ended up escaping, and then he ended up pushing Bray Wyatt into Kane, and then because Kane now was on the ring apron, and then Reigns hit him with the spear, and then it was 1, 2, 3, Roman Reigns wins, and it was like, what? Man, it's just like, I mean, it's alright, but it was really stupid. Like, I want to like it, but I can't, because this is stupid. Like, why? Like, oh my goodness. Bray Wyatt, how could he possibly get beat by Roman Reigns after Roman Reigns just went against King Barrett and Mark Henry? Not only that, after Mark Henry, like, he barely beat Mark Henry with the count out. And then Mark Henry gets him with the freaking world's strongest slam. And then he does the body splash to him. The world's biggest body splash. Roman's like dead at this point. And so now, like, a Roman Reigns has fought 2 fights already. Now he goes against Bray Wyatt. Well, I guess Bray Wyatt must suck. You know what I mean? Or like, Roman Reigns is just fucking out of this world. And the thing is, like, I want to root for Roman. But don't feed him like Bray Wyatt. Man, it's alright. Feed him King Barrett. And at least King Barrett was the first guy. So it's like, you know what I mean? You don't. They seem to have no problem just like having Barrett like job out, but and it's fine. And even Mark Henry, you know, because it builds up Roman like hella big, just even to get that win over Mark Henry. And the way they did it, it was good. You know what I mean? Like, him to just barely get it with the count out and stuff, and then Mark Henry actually got some, you know, action in on him after the match, so that worked out pretty nice. But then right here, it's not like, if anything, J&J and Kane should have kind of like caught Bray. They should have cost Bray the match or something. Like, somebody should have cost Bray the match. Roman shouldn't have like actually beat him despite J&J and Kane. And then, I mean, yeah, I guess he pushed him into Kane or whatever, but, like, I don't know, that's not really, it's not, that doesn't warrant, like, that whole thing, because he was the one who was supposed to be distracted. Like, I don't know why they would do that. Like, why can't, they should have even just had Kane be the third guy, you know, or why can't Triple H just be the third guy? There you go. Or even Seth. You know, and then have him, I don't know. I mean, I guess Seth, you don't want to do that, but, I mean, Bray Wyatt, like, why? And I like Bray, and I want to see Bray, and I like to see him in the main event of Raw, you know what I mean? That's cool. except then to have him like come out looking so bad, like, and then I mean, the only way that makes sense to me, I guess, it'll work out in the long run. And I mean, if you look at it like, well, this right here could be the catalyst for him getting back, with Harper and Rowan, and then getting with Bo Dallas, you know what I mean? Because they'll be like, oh, Bray Wyatt, he keeps losing without the fam, so now he got to reunite the Wyatt family. So I guess that makes sense in that aspect, and so maybe that's what it is. But it seems like it's really just a matter of, like, for whatever reason, they don't even care who they leave in the wake of building up Roman, I guess. I don't know. Which is, again, like, I want to root for Roman, and then it's, why do they make the booking make you not like him? Like, are they trying to make people not like him? Is that what they're doing? I mean, is it because they want him to be a heel for some reason? Which, I mean, I guess would fit into the whole thing with Dean. Which that's, what ended up happening, actually, too, after that is, once the match ended up ending, and J and Kane and Seth, they ended up teaming up on Reigns, so they're all beating on him. And then, oh, here comes Dean Ambrose. And so now, Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns, they're fighting the Authority without, Triple H and Stephanie are conspicuously not there, like always. And so then, Reigns ended up Superman punching Kane and spearing Noble. Ambrose took care of Mercury, and then he did the dirty deeds to Rollins. And so then they just went out there like, yeah. It was like, I don't know. Like, I really couldn't care less about that. I don't care about Ambrose like I used to, but they ruined him. And, you know what I mean? Once he's ruined, that's just it. It's like spoiled milk. You can't bring back spoiled milk. Maybe you turn into blue cheese. But, yeah, I don't really care about Ambrose, so, And, I mean, I would rather have it be Reigns versus Rollins at Money in the Bank. Like, Ambrose and Rollins, I don't really care. It's going to be a ladder match, so I mean, I guess that's cool or whatever. But still, like, I could really care less. Like, Ambrose just sucks. He's, like, so fake. Like, it makes me mad at myself that I even liked him at all and didn't realize sooner how fake he was. And it was like, when all the signs are right in front of my face. And that's how I feel like everybody who's cheering him, they're eventually going to be like, damn, why did we ever cheer this fake-ass dude? Like, it almost makes me want to just put up the picture right now of him in the pink tights and the freaking long hair, looking like a Sally. But anyway. So, overall, though, I thought Raw was pretty good, even though the end, was kind of stupid, but I didn't think that ruined the show overall. Like I said, overall I thought it was a pretty good show. It had some good moments. And I actually did think the whole gauntlet thing was straight until they said Bray Wyatt was the third guy. Then I was just like, wow, that's, all that work just to fucking lay a big turd on the main event. Like, why? But we'll see what ends up happening on SmackDown. SmackDown actually looks to be pretty sweet. Like, SmackDown has been so good this year. It's been so much better. Like, it's actually, you gotta always watch SmackDown. Before, you could just be like, I don't even care about SmackDown. But now, you gotta watch SmackDown. Even though it's pre-taped 2 days earlier, and you can go look up the results or whatever, you gotta see it. Especially this week, because they announced Kevin Owens is going to be defending the NXT Championship in an open challenge, so I'm definitely looking forward to that. That should be pretty awesome. But let me know what you thought about the main event, what you thought about Raw as a whole, what you think about Reigns versus Bray Wyatt. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Either way, share your thoughts and opinions. This is my opinion, so share your opinions in the comments section. That's what the comments section is there for. And like I said, whether you agree or disagree, I respect your opinion. Because really, wrestling is an art, and art is subjective, so beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and so whatever you see and whatever you like, that's right. Whether I agree or disagree, it's right for you. So share your opinion, feel free to do so. Thank you very much for listening. It is appreciated.